The Vietnam War, which lasted from 1955 to 1975, was primarily caused by the desire of the Vietnamese nationalist movement, led by the communist Viet Minh, to gain independence from French colonial rule. This desire for independence stemmed from decades of French colonization and exploitation of Vietnam's resources, coupled with a growing sense of nationalism among the Vietnamese people. During World War II, Vietnam was occupied by Japan, further weakening French colonial control. In 1945, following Japan's surrender, the Viet Minh, led by Ho Chi Minh, declared Vietnam's independence. However, the French, with support from the United States and Great Britain, sought to re-establish control over Vietnam, leading to the First Indochina War, 1946-1954. The First Indochina War ended with the Geneva Accords of 1954, which temporarily divided Vietnam along the 17th parallel, with Ho Chi Minh's communist government controlling the north and a pro-Western government controlling the south. The division was intended to be temporary, with nationwide elections scheduled for 1956 to reunify the country under a single government. However, the United States and South Vietnam, fearing that free elections would lead to a communist victory, refused to participate in the elections. Instead, the United States began providing military and financial support to the South Vietnamese government, which became increasingly authoritarian and corrupt under President Ngo Dinh Diem. As tensions between North and South Vietnam escalated, the Viet Cong, a communist guerrilla force supported by North Vietnam, began a campaign of insurgency in the South to overthrow the government. In response, the United States escalated its involvement, sending combat troops in 1965 to support the South Vietnamese government in what became known as the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War quickly escalated into a bloody and protracted conflict, with heavy casualties on both sides. The war also had a devastating impact on the civilian population, with widespread destruction and displacement. Despite the massive military and financial support provided by the United States, the South Vietnamese government was unable to defeat the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces. The Vietnam War finally ended in 1975, when North Vietnamese forces captured Saigon, the capital of South Vietnam, and reunified the country under communist rule. The war had a profound impact on Vietnam, the United States, and the international community, leading to widespread anti-war protests in the United States and changing the course of American foreign policy. In conclusion, the Vietnam War was primarily caused by the desire of the Vietnamese nationalist movement to gain independence from French colonial rule, coupled with the refusal of the United States and South Vietnam to hold free elections as agreed upon in the Geneva Accords. The war resulted in a devastating conflict that had a lasting impact on Vietnam and the